Tales from the wild. Stories from the heart. A journey into the mind and soul of fired-up business professionals where they share their vision for the future. And hear from a different non-profit organization every month as they create awareness of their goals and their needs. Dive into a world of untamed passion as we join our host, Shireen Buerta, for this month's episode of Friends from Wild Places.
Yeah, with that being said, what made you decide to write your first book?
Yeah, that's a good thing. The first book, El Árbol que Nunca Murió, that thing that you couldn't pronounce, it means the tree that never died. This is an idea that I always had in my mind since I was 19, living back in my country. And it happened that coming back to Switzerland, I applied to the job in Switzerland and I was accepted. I started working as a cabin crew. Actually, I started doing the academy to have my cabin crew attestation. And guess what? COVID arrived. So since I quit my job, the one that I had before, and I was an employee, I went in sort of a depression. It was too hard for me to accept the fact that I was having, finally, after all of the sacrifices, all of those years of sacrifices, I got an established job. I quitted to start over again. And then I got fired because of COVID. It was too much for me. It was too much. And emotionally, I was collapsed as well. And something clicked. I said, Franklin, you didn't move from your country to be depressed in another continent. It's time for you to do the things that you didn't have the time before because you didn't even have a weekend. It is time to write your book. That idea that you got long before. And that's how the El Árbol que Nunca Murió arrived. Those 2 years of COVID, I started writing. Of course, it was just like a first draft thing. It was not a good quality of writing. But in my opinion, the story was really good and all of it, which I still believe is a good story. The thing is, I started knocking the doors on publishers in Spain because the book was written in Spain, in Spanish. And over 50 publishers, one accepted. A small publisher. And of course I said yes. And of course I signed a contract with them. What I wasn't aware of is that small publisher was going through a hard process. The owner was dying. She was facing cancer. And I didn't understand why everything was just so disorganized. When the book was published, a lot of mistakes were there. And I was asking them, please, let's correct these mistakes. I don't want this book to be published that way. And then, no, we don't have time. We have to do it right now. But I didn't know she was facing this. A few months after the book was published, the owner died. Just a few months later. And that was quite shocking because I wasn't the only author who was living those kind of experiences. There were others as well. And now I could understand. And anyway, I got my book back, my rights, and I modified. I just got it better. I went to an editor. The person just, make some few corrections. And now I got it translated into English, which I hope it's going to be published in English, hopefully very soon. Meanwhile, I met other authors who were publishing books, and I was just involved in this atmosphere. And the second book arrived. It was just a self-development book, and 20 authors, me included, decided to speak about or challenge about the thing that bother us. So in chapter number 7 of the book Vivir Mejor es Posible, as living a better life is possible, I speak about success because I have always been feeling like a failure, especially during COVID. It took me one call over the telephone with a friend of mine who she asked, "What is success to you?" And I was like thinking, well, it's obvious, this and that. But then she said, no, that's what everybody believes about success and what you think you. But for you, what is success? And I started thinking, that question just took me nights and days of reflections. And finally, I could understand that for me, success is going to sleep with a clear conscience. Just go to sleep not feeling guilty of anything, knowing that you've been doing your best and that you're going to get better tomorrow. And it was so obvious. Of course, that changed. I published this in Living a Better Life is Possible, in Vivir Mejor es Posible, in chapter number 7. And I'm really proud about this. So I believe that I've been planting my seeds all over. At the same time, another publisher contacted me because there was an author who wanted to some illustrations for his book. And well, we spoke about it. The guy, Sergio Palomar, he's a professor, karate professor, and he works for an association in Spain for disabled children. So the book is a charity book, and he just needed an illustrator to tell the story about the life of this little guy who struggled. Anyway, I say yes. And yeah, it's really beautiful. I say yes, I make the pictures, I send the pictures to him. What he did is he printed or he scanned all of the pictures and then he put it on Amazon. And now the book is being sold already. Mm-hmm. And he's helping this association, which is really, really cute. I mean, I'm telling him just to translate this into English and do it in English, but I think he's very shy to do that. But maybe in the future we'll do it. So these are the 3 books that are published. There was another one that I published in English. I published in Spanish, then I translated it into English, but I took it out of the market, only self-published, only because I have other, projects with this book.
Right.
It's a children book. And
another one. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's just too much. Talking too much. I'm sorry.
No, please. That was one of my questions. Tanya and I wanted to know more about the different books that you actually wrote. And you've just told us, not only are you an author, but you're a co-author and an illustrator of a children's book. You're talented. Of course you are. And thank you so much for sharing that. I'm super excited to actually take a little bit more of a look into those 3 books. That's amazing.
I'm still amazed that you have 3 languages. That's amazing too. 3 countries, 3 languages that you speak. Franklin, I have a question. When you dream at night, when you go to sleep and you dream, what language do you dream in?
You are not gonna believe it. Yeah, you're not gonna believe it because it's so funny. The 3 of them actually. Of course, it's Spanish, because when I dream a lot of my mom when she passed away, of course. And then when I dream of her, it's only in Spanish. But then I dream a lot about my everyday life in France, things that happen is in French, and English as well, because English is, even though the accents, even though the little mistakes I could make, it's my second language, and like it or not. So I do have the dreams in the 3 languages, pretty much.
That's amazing, beautiful. What a beautiful journey that you've and I just like the free spirit, like just to get up and move to another country and just immerse yourself. I mean, talk about stepping out of fear. Like, I mean, if you can do that, that's a whole culture. I mean, it's not even like you're going to a country with the language already in common. Like, that's a whole, literally, like immersing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been quite an adventure, I have to admit, of course.
But I mean, sorry to interrupt you, Franklin.
No, I wanted to tell you that anytime you want to come to France, I have, of course, Switzerland just next to. I'm living in frontiers to Switzerland. You are always invited to my house. I have place for guests and family. So please come on.
Thank you. So you know something, I think I've mentioned this on a previous podcast, so Shireen may have heard this. So my dad, he passed away in 2022, but he was a travel agent. And, he had done, lifelong travel, and his favorite place in the world was Switzerland that he had visited. He loved Switzerland, and I've been, but more just like for like a specific trip. So I've never really had the chance just to embrace Switzerland, just to kind of go and just navigate and roam around. So yeah, you might find us there one of these days.
Please, please. I ask you, I'm begging you, come.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. And I was just it's so funny. Even before we had scheduled your podcast, I was on YouTube. As Shireen knows, I don't have a TV, so I spend time on YouTube looking at our, crime scenes, different things. But there was something about travel, and it happened to be Switzerland, and it kind of keeps. So, and now you're on the show mentioning Switzerland. So this Switzerland theme keeps coming through my vision here.
Tanya, this is a sign. Listen to that voice. It's calling you.
Yeah.
And now you know what to do.
Right. Thank you. Well, I may be there, Franklin.
I'm waiting for you already.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I mean, Franklin, you know that I'm quite the traveler right now. I'm in South Africa. I have the USA is where I'm lifting off to next, but I did mention to you that France and Italy, I can't actually remember I was in Spain when I spoke to you, and I believe it was December 2025 that you and I had a Zoom meeting. And I said to you, as far as I know, my next trips were France as well as Switzerland. So they're both on my list, and I'm so glad that I now know somebody. But before we get carried away, currently you're a cabin crew member with EasyJet, is that correct?
Exactly.
Which I know that job inside out. I used to be one for over 10 years. So with that being said, is that, being a cabin crew member, is that your dream job, or is it a means to an end? What does the end look like to you?
Irene, I believe that when I heard your story, because you've been a cabin crew and now you are doing this, I believe that I can compare with you. Cabin crew, just like living in France, just like everything else I've been kind of doing, it's been a dream. Yes, it's been a dream job. But I do believe with the respect with my job that I loved, I believe that I can do something else as well that is more meaningful, just something like you are doing right now. You are inspiring so many lives right now just with that program you have. You see? So you were not just a cabin crew. You are somebody who is inspiring. Look at me. This is my first podcast and I'm here with you. Thanks to you. So this is meaningful. You are changing life. And I believe that I'm meant to do the same. You know what I mean? So yes, being a cabin crew has been a dream job, but actually it's giving me the days off that I need. Just like when you're a cabin crew, you kind of work it 25/7. It's too much. So I have like quite a few days off to write, to draw, to do my public speaking classes and all of it. So I do believe that this job is helping me to prepare to become the person that I'm gonna become next. That is a writer. I wanna keep writing. Like I say, I'm translating my works into English to finally publish them. And I want to draw. What I'm doing right now is I'm building the basis to become an illustrator, a public speaker, and an author. And this takes time. It's not because you have the talent that you are gonna be recognized. You have to pass through a series of steps before getting in there. So I believe that I am getting in there thanks to my job, which I bless every day because I love it. I cannot lie to you. I love my job.
I did
Yeah.
enjoy it. Yes, I did enjoy it when I was still a cabin crew member. It's so
Yeah.
important, listeners, that you really listen to what Franklin's saying here, because we bring on guests month after month, Saturday after Saturday. We talk about, the different challenges these business owners and entrepreneurs have faced, and how
Yeah.
they've had successful businesses, how they've had failures as businesses. But it's not often that we actually come with a different way one can begin their entrepreneurship. One can become their own boss. Here Franklin is using the job that he has on the sideline to build the foundations to be the speaker that he wants to be, the author that he wants to be, the illustrator that he wants to be. And that's also, there's no right or wrong way of doing this, guys. You
Yeah.
do it the way that it best suits you. Um, and the cards that you were thrown, this is the
Yeah.
cards you have in your hand. You paved the way for yourself, Franklin, and I haven't known you for very long, but I am so proud of you, just the
Oh,
steps
thank
that
you.
you've made to get to where you are today.
Thank
And the
you.
fact that you're not giving up, and you're just using the cabin crew dream job. There's nothing wrong with going, yes, I absolutely love being a cabin crew member.
Yeah.
Is it
It's
what I
beautiful.
want to do for the rest of my life? No, it's one of the dream jobs I'd like to have. I've had it, and hopefully one of these days I get to do my next dream job, which is, as you said, being an illustrator, an author, a speaker, which you are doing already, baby steps. And I'm so excited to see where you go with this, Franklin. And with that said, I want to have a follow-up question is where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Wow, 10 years. Well, I believe I want to tell you something. In 5 years, I believe that I'm gonna be doing the things that I told you. I see myself giving speeches because I believe that I can share more of my experience. Not as somebody who just left the country, whatever. I believe that I could share more experience about my public relations with the people. I believe that I could teach other cabin crew members how to deal with rude passengers and how to upfront upside downs in life. So yeah, I think I see myself giving speeches, public speeches, from here 5 years, and doing my expositions. Why not with all of the cartoons that I'm making? I'm just building up that kind of concept that hopefully is going to be released pretty soon. In 5 years, I see myself writing books, all the ideas that I have, and why not still being a cabin crew, but still working for myself, just like the way you are doing it. If I see myself here in 5 years doing all of this, I would say that in 10 years, I'm gonna double all of those activities. So, yeah.
What a journey. I just sit back and I'm just in awe of you, Franklin, just because it's like it's not only you sit back and like dream about it, you actually put it into action. You actually do it, which I think so many people dream or they have things that they want to do, but it's almost like it never becomes a reality where you have manifested your reality, right? That's what it seems like.
Yeah, but you girls, you know this pretty well because if you didn't know that, you wouldn't be here doing this either, right? So I believe that you are doing something that I'm still learning, that it's just being in front of a camera,
Mhm.
giving confidence to somebody else, cheering those people up. This is so beautiful. But you saw yourself doing this like years before, and now look at you.
Well,
That's
I
beautiful.
mean, sorry to interrupt you, Franklin, but for me, it was very different. I think when I was a cabin crew, I
Yeah,
was frozen in the sense of I wasn't thinking about owning my own business. I wasn't thinking of starting my own podcast. I was just going to work, doing the shift, signing
yeah,
off, going to work, doing the shift, signing off. And in fact, the pandemic for me did
yeah,
me a mercy. It kicked me out of the business of aviation. It kicked me out because I lost my job. It kicked me out to the point where I was stuck with nothing and went, okay, what do I do? Like, where do I go from here? And thankfully I had a retrenchment package that I took and used as a stepping stone to start my own business. And then eventually start my own podcast with Tanya, as you can see. But yes, it's again, no right or wrong way of doing it. It's just I had to be literally kicked up the butt out of the aviation industry and say this is not for you anymore, Shireen. You need to move on, girl.
I got a question for you. Are you grateful for this experience? You are, of course you are.
Of course. Now looking back, I'm so grateful. Listen, it's when you're in the fire, it's not fun. It's not fun to be in the fire. It's not fun to have nothing, lost your job. It's not fun. It's not fun to have limited amounts of funds and going, oh my gosh, my funds are going to run out. And what if I haven't built this properly? I haven't got clients to support me. Like it was very scary when I was in the fire. Now looking back, of course, Franklin, I'm so grateful. The company I was working for in the aviation industry was toxic, very toxic. So I was the cabin crew. It's called cabin controller, but I think in the rest of the airlines they call it a purser, right? Or whatever. You know what I mean? So I felt like I was coming to work trying to support 3 other cabin crews' negative attitudes. And I was already struggling to put myself in a positive light and in a positive mental health, go to work in a positive light. And then I have to support A, B, and C's negative attitudes on the drum seat, and then go home after a 13-hour, 14-hour shift. And I'd be crashed and I'd be so dead. Emotionally, mental health was in the dumps. Like, I didn't realize how much of a toxic environment until I was forcefully booted out of the industry. And then me being where I am today, I can look back and go, oh my God, that wasn't a good environment for me.
This is so beautiful. Just like Tanya, the signs that life is giving her to come to Switzerland. Something similar happened to me in a flight. I remember that day really well. Somebody, that's just one of the passengers, he came and he spoke with my cabin manager. She was just almost crying that day. She was insulted. She's being mistreated by somebody. I wasn't there, but she told me. Well, it was a busy day. And that passenger, he said, you must free yourself from all of this energy. Every day you come to work, you get those energy from angry people, busyness, sick people, moods. You get this. And when you are in your elderly years, your body is going to reclaim all of those emotions, and then you will have cancer, and then you have ulcers, and you have this and that. You have to do something right now to get rid of those emotions, because you are going to suffer later. And then he said something that it was crucial. Who is going to pay for those medicaments on those years? Your company? Of course not, because you're going to be old enough to be considered, so think about yourself right now. It got me. And I said, this is what I needed to hear. I do not welcome those toxicity, even with colleagues and passengers. I can't. I don't see myself from here 30 years suffering from any kind of a physical whatever things. I don't see myself with a cancer or something, only because today somebody was mistreating me and I accept it. So these are signs that life are giving you. And your fire, Shireen, was the sign. Like, it wasn't a sign, it was an evidence. It was just like this is what you are meant to do. Thanks God that happened to you, and thanks God I listened to that passenger. And just to give you the end of the story, that cabin manager who was working with me, she's no longer working in the company. She's doing her dream right now, and I'm so proud of her. She's not my friend, but I have news from her, from time to time.
Good.
I believe that we are meant to do something else. You can do your job, but do something else that fills you up, and not just yourself, but somebody else. Help other people to achieve their dreams, inspire other people, give them tools to do what they're meant to do. Anyway, I'm just getting too philosophical here. So.
We enjoy it. We enjoy it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Tune in next week for part 3 of Friends from Wild Places.
You've been listening to Friends from Wild Places with Shireen Bueta. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast from the links to catch every episode and unleash your passion.